Liverpool in chaos. Steven Gerrard slams Arne Slot. Trent Alexander-Arnold speaks out and the Reds chase a $72 million defender. Stay tuned. Steven Gerrard slams Arne Slot's two-faced Liverpool and answers if he should be sacked. As the pressure continues to ramp up on Arne Slot, Steven Gerrard has spoken about the Liverpool boss. Steven Gerrard has made it clear Arne Slot deserves time to sort out Liverpool's problems, but cautioned the Dutchman the club's fans will grow more impatient if his side keep playing in the two-faced manner that they have. Slot and his squad are facing enormous pressure in the battle for Champions League qualification. Liverpool currently sit fifth, a point clear of sixth place Chelsea and 3 ahead of Brentford in seventh.
But the Dutchman, less than 12 months after securing the Premier League title, finds himself under intense scrutiny due to the team's patchy form in the league. A significant portion of the club's supporters are also beginning to question the former Feyenoord boss. That said, Gerrard believes Slot should be given the chance to reverse the situation, though he stressed the Liverpool faithful will expect swift improvements. Speaking on the overlap, when asked if Slot still has credit in the bank, Gerrard replied, "He has with me because I know more than anyone on the planet how difficult it is to win a league. And for him to come in and win a league in his first season, he's got a lot more credit with me. Jamie will tell you, Liverpool will demand. They expect to win it every year. I think he needs the opportunity to play his way out of trouble and fix the issues and try and get himself back in a good place." I think he did during that period a few months ago where they'd lost 9 out of 12 and then they went on a run where he took them from 12th to 4th in the league. I think someone who has won a league deserves at least a full season to try and get out of the problems and issues that they've got. I'm certainly one of them. But I have to understand what the fans are saying as well, because it has been dire on certain games and performances. Having thrown his support behind Slot to turn things around, Gerrard went on to slam how different Liverpool are in the Champions League compared to how they play in the Premier League. He said, "I've enjoyed watching them in the Champions League because I think they look like a completely different team. I think they're in a different place there, but it's a really tough ask for them going into the next one against PSG. In the league, they've looked very different. I haven't really enjoyed watching them. It looks as if they've got a lot of issues to fix. It's been difficult to put your finger on one issue because they've got quite a few and it's all over the pitch. So they've been very mixed and very two-faced, I would say." Slot's first fixture following the international break will be an FA Cup quarter-final showdown against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium before attention turns to the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final against Paris Saint-Germain. Trent Alexander-Arnold was open about how things were different at Liverpool before his exit. Trent Alexander-Arnold had to adapt his game under Arne Slot before leaving for Real Madrid. Trent Alexander-Arnold revealed the adjustments he made to his game 6 months before departing Liverpool for Real Madrid. The academy graduate spent only one campaign under Arne Slot before concluding he required a fresh challenge. It proved to be a remarkable season as the Reds stormed to the title, while Alexander-Arnold had to adapt to the tactical requirements of the Dutch manager. Having previously only featured under Jurgen Klopp, the right-back explained the modifications that resulted in him having a reduced creative impact on the side as Slot aimed to strengthen his defensive contributions. Alexander-Arnold told the club's website about the adaptability needed. He said, "In certain games I'll be inside because of the way they press. Sometimes they press differently. It all varies on how they press." Despite adopting a less prominent attacking role, he acknowledged that Slot's tactical alterations still enabled him to influence matches. He added, "The manager will dissect how they press so we can outnumber the way they press. If they press with 3, we'll have 4 players around so that we can play through them. If they press with a 2, then there'll be 3 players. It's just about who those players are and where it works best. Wherever the manager tells me to be, I'll be there because he'll tell me that's most likely where you'll get the ball. And if that changes, then he'll tell me during the game, you're not getting the ball there, try there, and maybe surprise him in there and see if that works." Throughout the game, there's a lot of things going on, but if I understand it, then it will work. So far it has. Whether these tweaks played a part in Alexander-Arnold's decision to depart the club remains uncertain. Meanwhile, Slot was frank about the players' need to sharpen up defensively, telling TNT Sports, "When we started to work together, I emphasised also a bit on his defensive work. He had to keep producing the numbers in assisting goals, but if we wanted to be a team that concedes less shots, he had to improve a bit in defending." Alexander-Arnold has had a challenging first season in Madrid, marked by a managerial change following Xabi Alonso's sacking and difficulty securing a consistent spot in the starting lineup. The The 27-year-old was recently benched for arriving late to a training session ahead of the Madrid derby against Atletico, although he came off the bench to assist Vinicius Junior's winning goal in the 3-2 triumph. Meanwhile, it appears that Alexander-Arnold is set to miss the World Cup after failing to make England's 35-man squad for the friendlies against Uruguay and Japan. Liverpool gets chance to snap up $72 million defender as transfer stance changes. Liverpool may need to dip into the market for another centre-back this summer, depending on what happens regarding contract talks with Ibrahima Konate at Anfield. It remains to be seen whether or not Ibrahima Konate will extend his stay at Liverpool beyond the end of this season, but should the French international move on, a replacement would be required. So far, while talks have been held with Konaté's representatives, no breakthrough has been made in negotiations. And while Jeremy Jacquet has been snapped up ahead of the summer for a fee of around $83 million, £60 million, and Giovanni Leone should be back from his ACL injury, another option will be required if Konaté leaves. Joe Gomez has had injury troubles in the last few years, and Arne Slot's roster has already looked light of numbers at times this season, so the Reds cannot leave themselves short. According to Sky Germany, RB Leipzig would be willing to sell Castello Lukeba, a centre-back linked with a move to Liverpool or the Premier League several times before when the summer comes. Capped 6 times by France, Lukeba has played almost 100 games for Leipzig since he moved to Germany from Lyon 3 years ago, establishing himself as a strong Bundesliga stalwart. While Lukeba has a $92 million, £70 million release clause, it is suggested that Leipzig would sooner sanction a deal for around $72 million, £55 million, because it would rather lose the defender than Yande Diomande. Diomande, of course, is another to have been linked with a transfer move to Anfield. But only a year after he moved to Leipzig from Spain, the Red Bull club is desperate to keep him for another 12 months before he inevitably departs. Nico Schlotterbeck, the Borussia Dortmund centre-back, has also been linked with Liverpool. Signing a more experienced option, should Konaté leave, would alleviate the pressure on Jacquet, 20, and Leone, 19, to perform straight away. Last week it was reported in Germany that a contract extension for Schlotterbeck was close. However, the player himself, while on international duty with his country, then said that is not the case. I must clearly deny that, he insisted. Unfortunately, we haven't reached that point. Things have been complicated by the departure of Dortmund sporting director Sebastian Kehl, who has been replaced by Oli Buch. I probably would have made a decision in the next few weeks. I negotiated with Sebastian for a long time and he's no longer there, Schlotterbeck explained. I have to see. I will hold talks with Ole, but it's not time yet. It's bad for the BVB fans right now, but it's not an easy situation for me either. Lot Gertrude, transfer dismissed after Liverpool's January offer. Liverpool are not expected to revive their interest in Dutch defender Lot Gertrude, despite a late January bid for Arne Slot's former Feyenoord captain. Gertrude emerged as a shock candidate for Liverpool at the end of the January transfer window, following another injury to Jeremy Frimpong. But with no deal brokered between RB Leipzig and loan club Sunderland, the 25-year-old has instead stayed at the Stadium of Light for the remainder of the season. With Leipzig expected to sell this summer and Liverpool already known to hold an interest, a switch to Anfield may have been mooted in the weeks to come. However, The Athletic's James Pearce reports that the Reds have shown no intention of returning to the table for Slot's most used player. This is despite his availability, versatility and the obvious concerns with Liverpool at right back, once again highlighted as Frimpong was forced off through injury for the Netherlands earlier this week. It remains to be seen if right back will be a target area for the Reds in the coming transfer window, but they have already moved to strengthen at centre-back. A £60 million deal was agreed to bring Jeremy Jacquet in from Rennes, while Mortal Ndiaye and Ifeanyi Ndukwe were also signed for the academy, and Giovanni Leone is now nearing a return following ACL surgery in October. Any further signing at centre-back would depend on whether or not Ibrahima Konate extends his contract, but there is optimism. The Frenchman will ultimately agree new terms. Liverpool's focus is instead expected to be in reinforcing their attack with at least one new signing in the wide areas. Mohamed Salah's impending exit has led to further links with Gertrude's Leipzig teammate Yande Diomande, though the Bundesliga club are looking to tie him down to a new long-term contract. Inter Milan's Denzel Dumfries and Genoa's Brooke Norton-Cuffy were also touted as right-back options for Liverpool at the end of the winter window. Neither deal developed though, and Slot has persevered with Dominic Szoboszlai as a full-back option in the position, as is now likely to be the case when Liverpool visit Man City in the FA Cup quarter-finals on Saturday. Mande agents remain in contact with Liverpool. Yande is rapidly emerging as a realistic transfer target for Liverpool FC ahead of the summer window. Mande's representatives are reportedly maintaining dialogue with Liverpool FC over a possible summer transfer, despite the fact that RB Leipzig want to tie him to a new deal. The 19-year-old has produced a stunning first campaign with RB Leipzig following his move from Leganes, hitting 11 goals and registering 8 assists in 29 outings in all competitions. That impact has also put him on the radar of several European giants, with Arsenal, Bayern Munich and Manchester United all monitoring his progress closely. Earlier this week it was reported that RB Leipzig are planning a contract adjustment for Mande, including a performance-based salary increase to reward his outstanding development. However, it seems that has not dissuaded the Anfield club. Taking to X, Florian Plettenberg of Sky Germany has claimed that although RB Leipzig want to offer a new deal to Mande, the player's entourage remain in contact with Liverpool. RB Leipzig are planning to reward Mande with a new deal and performance-based pay rise without adding a release clause. RB want to keep their 19-YO gem for another season, but would consider offers starting at €100 million. Liverpool are closely monitoring him and remain in contact with his agents. Leipzig's valuation, starting at €100 million, may not deter Liverpool if the right structure can be agreed, and it's expected to come down when the summer gets underway. There is no release clause active in his current contract, giving the German club strong leverage if they look to make Mande their next record departure after previous high-profile sales. That could easily be the case, as Sky Germany also previously reported that RB Leipzig will have to raise €100 million in revenue from player transfers, irrespective of whether they qualify for the Champions League. Fresh Liverpool injury claim emerges after Arne Slot international break update. Liverpool has been unfortunate with a number of injuries this season, but Arne Slot will have Alexander-Arnold back soon, and Giovanni Leone is said to be progressing well. Liverpool centre-back Giovanni Leone posted a rare update on social media last week amid his recovery from an ACL injury, with reports in Italy suggesting he is progressing well on the comeback trail. The Reds have been dealt numerous injury setbacks this season, with Leone so far only having played once for his new club. The teenager impressed against Southampton in the League Cup before he was stretchered off at Anfield. After successful surgery, it was always going to take a lengthy period of time before Leone returned. As long as he is ready at the start of pre-season in the summer, that would be a good result. According to the Italian outlet Mondo Primavera though, Leone is progressing well. It is suggested that he could significantly step up his recovery in the next few weeks, potentially by the end of April. Even if Leone had been fit all season long, he would have been used sporadically. But to have an extra option available would have been useful for Arne Slot during times when his team has looked light in numbers at the back. With Jeremy Frimpong in need of a scan to determine the extent of his latest issue, Joe Gomez may be needed at right back in the coming fixtures. That will leave Liverpool stretched in defence once again. This summer, Gomez will only have a year left on his contract, while there has been no new update yet on Ibrahima Konate. Though the Frenchman could yet pen new terms and remain at Anfield beyond the end of the campaign. Jeremy Jacquet will arrive from Rennes in the summer after a deal worth $83 million, £60 million was agreed for him, though he too is currently sidelined with a shoulder injury. Ahead of the weekend's trip to Manchester City, Liverpool will welcome Alexander-Arnold back to team training. Mohamed Salah and Federico Chiesa are expected to be available for selection, though Alisson Becker is still out. I think Alex is in a really good place because Sweden qualified for the World Cup, and apart from that, he's going to train with the group again for the first time tomorrow, Slot told Club Media. If you've worked so hard for 3-4 months or something like that, and then to return to team training, that's for everyone. Very nice. So Alex is, in that sense, in a good place. Of course, it's only his first session after 3 or 4 months with the team, but it's good to have him back because we all know who we signed, and we've signed an incredible striker. So to have him again in a team that's usually generating quite a lot of chances, and maybe not immediately from the first moment that he can start, but to have him back for the last 2 months is, I think, very helpful for us.